Good morning, everyone. This is Paramita. I hope you all had a good week. I had a wonderful week. Actually, I am on holiday since last 11 days. Tomorrow night, I'll be back. Okay, so still now I'm in Gold Coast. So today, I am going to discuss what is responsive website, and then I will also discuss and show you how to make an website responsive. First, we need to understand what is responsiveness. When we talk about responsive website, what do we mean? Okay, now I'll show you with example. Like you can see here, this is a blog like I have started to create, but it's not finished yet at all. Uh, Once I am back, I will start working on that. So I started to develop this website. Now, how we can check it's responsive or not? Now, responsive website means, see here, I have written it for you. I will leave this note on my blog in future. I'll try if I can put it in description section, but it's quite long, so probably it will not fit there. Anyway, it will be on my blog. You can come back and you can read anytime. Now, a responsive website refers to a website design approach that aims to provide an optimal viewing and interaction experience across different devices and screen sizes. Okay, so that means different devices means like if you are watching this on your desktop or on your laptop or on your iPad or mobile phone, they all are different devices. Okay, where we can see the website. But just notice all the devices they got different screen size. Like maybe you got a desktop computer with a huge screen or your laptop. Normal laptop screen size maybe it's 1200 or 1000 pixel like that. Some maybe 1400. And the iPad or tablet it will be less than that. Okay? Maybe 600, 700 like that depends. And the mobile phone will be very small. Okay, different mobile, different screen size, but it's definitely smaller than your laptop, desktop, or tablet. So, an website we can say that this is responsive when we can view that website seamlessly in any screen size, in any device. Okay, it's not like that when you are viewing this in the desktop, you are viewing this perfectly, but when it comes to mobile, maybe you are seeing half of the image. Maybe there is an image, you are seeing half of the image. Okay, or some texts they are cutting, you are not able to see at all. Okay, if it's like that, that means that website is not designed to be responsive. Now, nowadays, in this age, everyone has got mobile phone. So most of the time we view the website in our mobile itself. So that's why it's really important to know how to design our website responsively. Your website should be responsive, otherwise it's not going to be really effective. People will not be able to see whatever you want to show in their mobile. Okay, so that's why it's really important to know how you can create your website responsive. You just have to follow few design techniques. Okay, now I have listed some of those techniques. I'll say most of the techniques. It's like a guideline, like how we can create our website responsive. Now, first I'll show you the difference between a responsive website and not responsive website. Now, when I started to create this one, I was creating it as a responsive website, but then one day, like quickly, I had to create this notice board. I created that, but this is like a different section of my website. But after that, I didn't get time to make it actually mobile friendly, to make it responsive. So still now this area is not responsive. Now because of that, my whole website is looking really bad in mobile. How you can check that? To check that, you can see this in your mobile, or there is a different way. Suppose you are doing the development on your laptop or on your desktop. So again and again going to the mobile and checking, it's not possible. And all that and not only that, maybe you are just developing offline, so you will not be able to see that in your mobile in the beginning. Now this is paramita.blog is online at the moment, it's already hosted. So so you will be able to see this in mobile, but when you are developing offline on your computer, you will not be able to see that's online in the mobile. So how you can check your responsiveness? Now on this website, open your file like your index.html, whatever you made, open that in the browser and right click. When you right click, you can see at the bottom inspect. Click on that. See what you can see here? Basically you will be able to see all your code here. Okay, you can expand the code section. You can see, you will be able to see all the coding what you did, but at the moment I'm not going to show you all those stuff. What I'm going to do, I will check whether my website is responsive or not, how it will look on my mobile. So for that, you see in the top right this icon, toggle device. Click on that. See, now it's showing like in a mobile. Okay, when it's showing on mobile, see it's different actually, because on the top I did some changes to make it responsive. You can, first thing you see, it's not looking good, it's looking ugly. Okay, this is the thing I don't want. Now go back. See, first thing in the navbar I had this YouTube, these things. In the right side I had join meeting. When I'm hovering the join meeting, it's increasing, and the YouTube thing was also there, and this welcome to take for all, it's quite big. Now look, when I'm going to the mobile version, there is a welcome to take for all, but there is no YouTube thing, there is no join meeting at all, and rather, sorry, yeah, instead of that there is a YouTube click here thing, which is not visible in the desktop version. Okay, so that means I made some changes to make it mobile friendly. Okay, so this area was actually mobile friendly. I know, I have tested before. Now it's looking different because of this notice board section, because this sections is not responsive. This one I have to change. Okay, now what I'm trying to say, I made some changes. Okay, like what, like few things I totally disappeared when it's going to the mobile. Now all the time you don't have to disappear the thing. Maybe you will keep the things as it is, but you will change the size. Okay, you will change the font size. Like this image here, this image is so big, it's taking the full screen here. Okay, I wanted that to take the full screen, but not cutting any image, but the full screen of the mobile. So I made some adjustment for that also. What adjustment? I'll show you gradually. So I'll go to inspect again. So what I'm trying to say, the difference between the responsive website and non-responsive website. So basically, when you are developing, you have to check like this. Whatever you are developing, whether they will look same in different screen sizes. Now here in the top, you can see dimensions, responsive. This is the screen size, 371 into 658. This is like normal size, like I'll say standard size of a mobile, but there can be different size. If you click on this drop down menu, you can choose any device from here, like iPhone SE. Okay, it will show that. So you can check everything in which phone, how it's looking like this. You can check and you can make your changes according to that. Okay, so in this website, definitely I have to work on this and I have to make it responsive. It is not responsive basically at this moment. Okay, so now I think it's clear to you that what is responsiveness. What does it mean by creating a responsive website? Okay, so to do this, during your development, you have to come and check like this. Make a section and then check that section, how it's looking in desktop, in your normal screen, and then come here, inspect, and then check it in different screen like this. Okay, iPad, mini iPad, everything is here. You can check, and as per that, you can make the changes. But not only that, you have to follow some guidelines from the beginning so that you don't need to make a lot of changes. Okay, if you follow these guidelines, your website will be responsive from the beginning. The first thing is set the viewport. What is the viewport? Viewport means basically the viewing area. Like in my computer, right now I am working on a laptop. This whole screen, this is my viewport. Okay. Now I have opened the browser. This whole screen of this browser, this is my viewport. So you can understand that in different devices, you will have different screen size of your viewport. Okay, so the first thing what we are going to do, you have to set your viewport. How you are going to do that? In the head section, if you can remember, I told you before about the meta tag. Like this is the file we are working in my last video. So here, when you first start your HTML file, when you use the M8 shift 1 enter, some code comes up automatically, you don't have to write. And there in the head section you get meta tag. The second meta tag, you see the name equals to viewport. Meta tag is basically, it gives us some information about the website. We can write meta tag to give information about the author, that means the creator of the website also. So you can mention a lot of things in any meta tag. Now this meta tag is about viewport. The name equals viewport. Content width equals device width. That means here we are mentioning that this web page which we are creating here in this file, it will take the device width as its viewport width. That means in whatever device we are going to view this web page, it will take the width of that device as the viewport width. Okay, so this is a first step to make our web page responsive. Now initial scale equals 1. 1 means like 100%. That means initially it will be shown as 100% zoom. Okay, so this tag is really important. Always use this to make your web page responsive. Clear? All right. The next guideline I will say, okay. The next guideline is like use a CSS framework to be in safe side. Like Bootstrap is a famous CSS framework, but I know you guys just started to create your website, so you don't know about that. In future, I will create a separate video series on Bootstrap, how to use Bootstrap. But don't worry about that now because you just started. First, you learn and practice HTML and CSS more. Develop few websites, imagine something and develop few websites. As I said, you can watch some already existing website and you can start like copying it. Okay, and that's how you learn in the beginning. First, you develop 3 4 at least web page like this using HTML and CSS. Practice this and learn some advanced CSS also. I'll tell you how. And then you go for the bootstrap, because before using any framework it's better to clear your basic, then you will understand that what's happening in the framework. Okay, all right. So I'm not going to discuss more about bootstrap here. So just for now, know that if you use some CSS framework like bootstrap and all, you have to code little bit less to make it responsive. Okay, you don't need to worry about those things because they already they will already code it for you. Now implement a responsive grid system. This is some advanced CSS which is not the scope of this course. I will discuss this one by one in advanced CSS series after finishing this course. Okay, like CSS flakes, CSS grid, they are more advanced and they are really important. Especially CSS flakes will be very helpful to make your web page responsive. Okay, I will make separate video for those. No worries about that. Now this is really important. You need to understand. Use relative units for sizing. Like so far, you have used only unit for width and height and margin and padding, that is pixel. But there are a lot of other units available in CSS for measuring the width, height, etc. in CSS. Like one is like percentage. When we use percentage, percentage means what? Like percentage of the viewport. Viewport means, you know, now I just discussed. Sorry, I just discussed about it. Viewport means the viewable area of your device or browser. Okay. So when you mention your width, height, margin in percentage, that means the percentage will be of your device width. Okay, so it will make the website responsive. Like for an image, when I mention the width will be 20%. So even if it's in mobile, it will be 20% of the mobile screen. Okay, so that's how percentage is really a handy unit in CSS. Remember, I think it's easy to remember. Try to use percentage as much as possible in height, width, and all those stuff. Except that there are quite a few unit like viewport percentage, and there will be uh, EM, REM, viewport height, VH, viewport width, all are there. As I said, I will leave this note in my blog. You can go and you can read and you can understand one by one. Okay. Now for the time being, you already know what is percentage, what is pixel. Now other stuff you can read and you can know about this later on. Okay. Because if I read one by one, if I say it, it will take a long time. So, and when I will make my CSS advanced videos, there I am going to explain all of this one by one. Okay, So to keep this video short, I'm not explaining one by one. For the time being, you know the percentage. Okay? All right. Now, another very, very important thing, that is CSS media queries. This is also actually advanced CSS topic, but I will discuss about that because to make your website responsive, it is really, really handy and easy to use, like media queries. I'll show you hands-on also just after discussing this. Using media query, what we can do in the CSS file, if we use media query, uh, we can mention specific style for different devices using media queries. Okay, all right. Now when I will do hands-on, I will explain this more. Okay, so optimize images. You can optimize the image size. It's already I discussed, like using the percentage and all. So basically this is a guideline what we can do. Okay, except that also you can do experiment, so basically when you will develop the website, as I told you, you will inspect and you will check how it's looking in different devices, and as per your requirement you will make the changes and you will make it responsive. All right, now we'll do some hands-on thing. Now in this is an index.html file which I created in my last video. In my last video, what I discussed, okay, in my last video I discussed like how to use the external CSS, basically using the different CSS file. This is our CSS file, style.css, and I also discussed about the different types, like different ways, three different ways in which we can add CSS to HTML: inline CSS, internal CSS, and external CSS. So basically now we are using external CSS here. That means an external CSS file, style.css, which is attached to our HTML file using the link tag here. Okay, so that's how we attach our style sheet file or CSS file to the HTML file. All right, using the link tag. Okay, now at this moment, how it's looking. So first, Control F5, we'll see in our browser what's going on. Okay, now see, it's looking okay in my laptop. Now I will check how it's looking in other devices, like mobile, suppose. Okay, so in mobile, see, it's a little different. It's not in the center. In like a bigger device like my laptop or tablet, it's like in the middle, but in the mobile it's not in the middle. Okay, why is that? How can I fix it? Because I want my website to be responsive. It should look nice in mobile also. I want it to be in center in mobile as well. Okay, now another time I'll see how it's looking. Now the dimensions here, what it's showing. Suppose I'll choose iPhone 12. Okay, now what it's showing, instead of center, it's a little bit in the right side. Okay, okay, so I will go to my Visual Studio. Now this is within a div called ABC, and that ABC div is within first section. Okay, so we have to open our style.css. We will see what we did. Now this ABC div, where we have written parameter.blog, that margin left auto, margin right auto, and width 20%. Now, instead of 20%, if I do the width 40%, no, not 40%. Hmm. I think we have to do this 10%. Save. Now go back here. Now check how it's looking. Oh, it's more. It went more right. Okay. All right. So these are the things you have to think and you have to make the changes. Okay, not 10% or 20%. I'm going to make it 40%. Let's see what happens. Yeah, see, when I made the width 40%, it served my purpose. Now I'll check it on some other device also, other mobile device sizes. Yeah, it's looking nice. iPhone SE, iPhone SE also fine. So most of the standard mobile, it's looking nice now. That's what I want. Okay. But if I go back, to my normal default size, my laptop size, now it's not in center. It was good when I made it 20%. So that means what is my requirement now? I want it to be 20% by default for the big screen. But for smaller screen, for mobile screen, I want that div's width to be 40%. Now there are a lot of ways to make it responsive. This is not just the way. But I thought about this way. You can do it in different way. But this is also a way we can fix this problem. Okay. So basically you have to think and you have to solve the problem. It doesn't matter which way you are solving it. Right now, in my mind, this is the requirement and that's how I'm going to fix. So basically I have to keep that divs width 20% in by default in my default viewport this laptop, and for smaller screen, for mobile screen, I have to make it what? I have to make it 40% width. Okay. So how to do this? That's where we have to use media query in CSS. Okay. So I guess you understood now that in which situation we will use media query. So how to do that? Easy. Now I will, instead of 40%, I will do it 20%. Okay, as it is. It was like this before. So the default version is now fine. It was in center, now it is in center. So what I have to change? I have to change for mobile screen only. Okay. And what was our mobile screen size? Like 375 62 into 667. So we'll write like this at the rate media only screen and within the bracket max width we're putting 390 pixel. Okay, now then we'll open curly bracket. Within the curly bracket, first we have to mention the element we want to style. Here this ABC div. Now as usual, within curly bracket, whatever you want to style specifically for this mobile device, we'll put here. We just want to change the width. So width, instead of 20%, I want to make it 40% for mobile. Now save. Let's check how it's looking. Okay. Now, in the normal screen, like in my laptop, it's fine, but we have to check how it's looking in the mobile. That's why we use the media query. Okay, so toggle. Okay, oh, it's looking almost same. It didn't change much. Okay. Mm, oh, here we didn't put the semicolon. Maybe it's not. Now we have to check different mobiles also. Like iPhone SE is 375 width. Here it's looking nice. It's in the center. Okay. But if we go to iPhone 12, it's 390. It's not looking nice. iPhone SE is 375. That is looking nice. iPhone XR 414 width. It's not looking nice. Okay. So we have to like check and experiment like this. Now there are some mobile which are 414 pixel we saw. So instead of putting the max width 390, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make it 414. Okay, let's see what happens. Refresh. Let's not refresh it. All right. Did I save it? Maybe I haven't saved it here. Okay. Yeah, I haven't saved. Control S. Now refresh. Yeah. So now we'll check. iPhone 12, it's looking nice. iPhone XR 414. Okay, what I'm going to do, instead of 414, I'll make it, suppose, maybe 430, little bigger than 414. Let's see what happens. Refresh. Now we'll see iPhone SE, that is fine, 375 width. Now we'll see iPhone XR, that is also nice in the center. iPhone 12 Pro, this is also nice. Yeah, yeah, that's all I wanted. Some phones, Galaxy, Samsung Galaxy, this is also fine. Okay, so in this way, you have to experiment and you have to check, okay, different devices, how they are looking. So, so what I did, I have just mentioned the CSS media query for max width 430. There are two, so that's how we can use the media query to make our website responsive. Okay, so this is the media query, a new CSS, I'll say advanced CSS trick which I have explained to you today, handsome, except that I already mentioned the other things you can use, like when you are mentioning the margin, padding, or the width of a div, height of a div, instead of using pixel, use other relative CSS units like percentage, okay, viewport width like VW, viewport height, VH, all those stuff. Okay, and I will leave this note in my blog. You can go and you can check there. Once I am back from holiday, I'll be back tomorrow night actually. In next week, I am maybe I will work on my blog. There I will mention this one. Okay. like how you can make your website responsive, and you can experiment this and you can do it yourself. Like what I'm trying to say, suppose go to index.html, and suppose after this div you created another div and give it an id, my image. Okay, and I will put one image here, img source. I have one image at the moment only in this folder, so I will close it. Now how it's looking, we'll just check it in the normal screen first. Look, so in the normal screen, oh, in normal screen this image I have, it's so big. You can change the size of the image. There are a lot of ways to do this. I will discuss about this later on in my other videos. But at the moment, this image is so big, even bigger than my laptop screen. So see, it's basically cutting my image, okay? But how can I make this image responsive so that it will take the size of my screen, whatever screen I use, laptop screen or mobile screen, whatever. How can I make it responsive? Now, media query is always there. You can mention the style of the image, like image different image width in the media query. But there is some easy way to do this. Okay, instead of mentioning different size in media query, what we can do, we can style the image. It's my image div. Now because there is only one image, so I just can write img and then I can write the style. But if there was more than one image, what we have to do, we had to mention the id first. What was the id? Within my image, then img. So within this div, this image, um, I will give the width 100%. That means 100% of the screen. Okay, then let's see what happens. Save it, go there, refresh. See, now it took 100% width of my screen. Now nothing is cut. Now I can see the whole image. This is the whole image actually. Now how it's looking in the mobile, we have to check that. Inspect. See, this is little smaller screen than the laptop screen. Here also it's looking nice. In mobile screen also it's looking nice. So can you understand now what's the difference? Instead of using the pixel, when we are using the percentage, that means it's that percent, whatever percentage we are mentioning, it's that percentage of the screen. So I mentioned 100%. So it took the 100% of the mobile screen. Okay. Now here itself, suppose I don't want it to take the 100% of the mobile screen. I want a gap. I want a gap between this top bar, like whatever we have created, that heading bar, parameter or block. We want a gap between this and this, and also we don't want to take the 100% screen. We want to make it like we want some gap on four sides. Okay, so we can use the margin and padding for that. Either you can use margin or you can use padding. It's up to you. Now, suppose if we want to use margin for this in my image div. So what we are going to do, we'll go to style.css and we will style my image div. We'll say margin 2%. So instead of pixel, we are using percent. Okay, if we use percent, maybe a lot of time we will not need to use media query, but we may need to use sometimes. That you have to experiment, okay, as per your requirement. Now refresh. See, I got some gap. Okay. Now how it's looking in the big screen. See, in the big screen also I am getting the same sort of gap because I have mentioned the margin 2%. Okay. So whatever screen I will go, it will take 2% of the screen. Okay. You can see. Now suppose with this 2% margin, you are happy in the mobile screen, in the iPad screen also, but not in the laptop screen, like in the big screen. Maybe in the big screen, you don't want this gap. Then what you will do? In that situation, what you have to do? For the big screen, we will not mention because by default, the whatever whatever like we style we are mentioning, it's for the big screen. We will not mention that 2% margin for the big screen. Instead of doing this, we will mention that in our media query, within the media query. Whatever style we did before outside, I just cut it and paste it within this media query. Okay, see? So whatever I have created this media query for max width 430 pixel, within this I mentioned margin 2%. So because of that, what's going to happen? When I am with a viewport within 430 pixel, that means smaller screen, mobile screen, then only I will get this gap for margin 2%. Other time I will not get the gap. Now refresh. Wait a minute. Maybe I 100%. Okay. Control save. Yeah. Now refreshed. I didn't save it before. That's why. So now I saved. I just refresh the screen. See, whole screen. There is no margin now. It's looking nice. Okay. So it's up to you. What do you want to do? You decide that I want this whole screen to be like this. So I took out the style and I just put it in the media query where I mentioned the media query for smaller screen only, max width 430 pixel. See, this is like medium screen. This is like sort of your iPad screen. Here also it's not giving the margin, but when I'm going to the mobile screen, here it's giving the margin. Okay, so in this way, this is a guideline how you can make your website responsive. Media query is very, very important. You can do a lot of things using the media query. But before using media query, always, first thing you need to do, you have to mention your viewport meta tag on the top, this one. Okay? And then use the relative CSS units instead of using the pixel wherever it's possible. Okay? And then use the media query, CSS media query. Yeah, so pretty much we learned how to create our website responsive, and in future I will create a video series on Bootstrap. That's a CSS framework. Basically that is a CSS and JavaScript framework, but you don't need to know JavaScript for that because they we'll do they already created some components for us. We can directly use from there, just copy paste. That will be really, really easy, and it will save your time and effort. But before learning this, you need to, it's always good, because you are just starting the coding. Don't go to the shortcut. First learn the HTML and CSS nicely. If you are interested in coding, if you are interested in like web designing and stuff, then I will tell you to learn like more advanced stuff in CSS. In my next video, I will give you some more resources where you can learn those and what you should learn, all those stuff. After this, no worries about that. So that don't stop here. If you are interested in web development, if you are just learning HTML, CSS for some other thing, like if you are becoming a software tester, software automator, like automation engineer, or if you're in Salesforce and stuff, if you just want to know the basic, then you don't need to know a lot of advanced stuff. If you know the basic, that will be enough for you. But in next some advanced videos, I'm going to discuss about like DOM, what is DOM, and all those stuff. Those will be helpful for you as well. Now, and also in my next video, I'm going to show you how you can host your website, whatever website you create, for free online in GitHub. And you'll learn about Git and GitHub also in that video. And Git is like a version control tool that will be helpful as well. And also, as I already mentioned, that I have already two videos on Git and GitHub, but that is like more technical. If you are tech savvy, if you are software tester or anything, you should learn that one actually. But if you are just a beginner, if you are not interested, you don't need to watch those videos because those are too technical. I will show you a little easier tool, that is GitHub desktop tool. Using that, we are going to host our website on GitHub for free. Okay, so now practice this one, and please practice this responsiveness guidelines which I have just mentioned. And it's really important, because nowadays everyone watch on mobile itself. So you need to make your website mobile friendly and responsive. Okay, and yeah, so enjoy your weekend and practice this. In next video, I am going to show you how you can host your website on GitHub. Thank you so much for watching. You have a great weekend. Bye.